welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be covering some more Illuvium content. We seen earlier today with the land sale that came out, there are going to be 20,000 plots available, which is awesome. But now we're going to shift gears a little bit and we're going to take a look at the staking. So as right now within the pool, the ILV pool is running around 40%. That's pretty generous on the side. The Sushi LP pool is running about 491%. Which is absolutely crazy, but the staking terms are going to change, which is what we're going to be looking at today, which is our V2 proposal when it comes to Illuvium. So let's go ahead and we'll get into that. But before we do, go ahead, click on the subscription button. We're over 1,200 subscribers already. Definitely making some solid progression in this space with NFT gaming. So if you're into Illuvium and NFT gaming, definitely go ahead and give it a sub down there. Give it a thumbs up. Definitely let me know in the comments what you guys think. So let's go ahead and we'll get into the video. So here it is, guys. So if you are staking in Illuvium, there is really some key points that you definitely need to know. We know on V1, it is super expensive due to the gas fees to stake in Illuvium, also to claim your rewards. That is going to change, and it really has to change. So the DIO has made a new set of smart contracts, which I'm just going to kind of summarize in here. And then I am going to read some of the key points that you really have to know. So during the window of 2 weeks, now as of right now, there is not a date of when this is going to be live, but there will be a 2-week window when staking 1 will be depreciated and V2 will begin generating yield. Users will be required to upgrade to V2 and in exchange will receive a number of benefits and improvements. That is right, guys. Users will be required to upgrade to V2, which again, we'll get into that a little bit more as we kind of break down this document. And again, I know it is a lot of content, and for a lot of us that are newer to the crypto space or even staking for that matter, stay with me. I'm going to do a summary at the end of it so you guys can kind of see the breakdown. So here's the process again. So what they're doing is they're converting from a V1 to a V2. During the period, they will be halted for the yield of V1 when the yield begins at V2. When you do the conversion, you will be given a bonus to cover the 2 weeks prior with no yield from V1. That means that I know a lot of people in Discord are going to absolutely lose their crap when V2 gets launched if they are not aware that they're not going to be getting the yield from that. Now, the detailed process for each type of staking. Now, this is going to make a difference depending where you are, guys. If you are in the flexible pool, you can see the first 2 right here. Does not count to yield in V2 unless you stake and lock for a minimum of 1 month. That is right, guys. On V2, there is no flexible option. So where a lot of players are putting money into the ILV pool or the Sushi LP pool with a flexible deposit, meaning that they can take the money out whenever they want. There is no option in V2 to do that. The minimum period is 1 month if you're looking to stake. So if you're not looking to stake for the full 1 month, the 30-day period, you're not going to be staking your coins. Now, why does that make a very big difference? Because remember, the coins have to be staked to be eligible for revenue distribution. If you're holding coins in your wallet, they're not going to be eligible for revenue distribution. It is staked coins that are going to be eligible for that. So again, pretty interesting. Locked deposits in ILV. So now we look at the deposits that are actually locked. So this is when you went from a term already. When they go to V2, your coins are going to be locked in a certain time. Counts to yield rewards after upgrading to V2 at existing weight, so it remains the same. Unlocked deposits. Now remember, if you staked them, let's say for a week, your week came up, the tokens are now unlocked, but you have not claimed them. Counts to the yield rewards after upgrading to V2 at the existing weight. Additionally, can be migrated to V2 in order to save on gas from claiming. That is the big upgrade to V2, guys, is being able to save on gas every single time you claim. So if you do have them unlocked, you can move them over to V2. Locked deposit in the LP pool. Now this is exactly where I am at. A majority of my locked deposits are in the LP pool. Counts toward yield rewards after upgrading to V2 at the existing weight. Now that does not mean that we're going to be able to migrate them because they're locked. And since they are locked and they are locked on V1, they're actually going to stay on V1 until they hit the unlocked deposit. Unlock deposit counts to the yield reward after upgrading to V2. Additionally, you can migrate them. Same with the ILV and the LP pool. You can migrate them to save on claiming gas fees. So locked ILV, again, ILV yield counts towards yield rewards after upgrading to V2, same weight. Unlocked ILV yield has not been 12 months since launch, but will continue after the unlock. And the seed and team will automatically migrate to V2, so they don't have to worry about those. Does not count towards yield, which is awesome and can be transferred to the ILV pool to unlock. So we know a lot of the tokens are coming up. I believe it is February for a lot of the initial team that was rewarded with tokens. So it summarizes the main changes here. Reward claiming. Claim will be needed when migrating to unlocking deposits to V2. That is right, guys. When you're on V1, you're migrating to V2, there will still be a claim that needs to be made, meaning it is gas. So there is going to be gas. However, if the rewards are smaller than the gas fee, so essentially if I have $50 to claim in rewards, I go to do my redemption, the gas fee is $140. Users will be able to forego this yield. And I'm not 100% sure. I'm assuming you're not going to have to pay for the gas on that, but I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work. Or if you're just, that again, I'm a little bit unclear on exactly how that's going to work, which you guys can let me know if you do know how it's going to work. So fixes and gas optimizations. Again, this is the biggest thing that a lot of players complain about is if I'm a small investor and I have $1,000, you know, what I have available to the game. If you go to invest it, especially if you're swapping to get into the LP pool, when you're done with the gas fees, you might have $500, $600 left. So you're losing a roughly $400. The users that still have deposits in V1 will pay slightly higher gas fees. As they are migrated to V2, gas fees will continue to decrease. Users are not required to migrate, and the yield will still be calculated from V1. So it will depend on how often you claim to decide if migration is worth it. So again, if you're still getting yield on, or if you're still getting rewards on yield on V1, the tokens are going to stay on V1, meaning that with V1, instead of the migration to V2, you are going to have to pay the gas fees when you go to decide to get your tokens. Now, not sure if when you claim the rewards, the claimed rewards are going to be, I'm essentially thinking they're going to be on V1 locked for the 12 months like they normally are. But ultimately, depending on how often you decide to claim them, if the migration is worth it. So if we suddenly moved everything to V2, it would definitely be worth claiming more often versus staying on V1 again because of the gas fees. And I hope you guys are with me so far. Transfer position. This is where a lot of players are stuck. V1 locked positions are still unable to be moved to the new address. That is the most frequently asked question in the community. Can we transfer their total position to V2? Unfortunately, with them being locked, they are unable to move to the new address, which kind of stinks. So this is another key point right here, guys. Flexible staking removed. Flexible staking is being removed in staking V2, which means V1 users that stake in flexible will be required to lock up for a minimum period of 1 month. Maximum lock is still 1 year to get that 2.0 weight, but the crazy amount of players that are doing flexible staking and flexible rewards, so I can actually stake my money, get my rewards, take out my money whenever I want. That is not going to be an option. It is going to be a minimum of 4 weeks or a minimum of 1 month, as you see right there. NFTs are going to be addressed later, which is currently in progress. And then it does run through some definitions if you are unfamiliar with the V2, guys. So I'm going to leave a link down to this below. Again, I know it is a lot to go through and a lot to kind of digest. I've actually went through it a couple times to really understand exactly what it's going to be. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to summarize it real quick to kind of break down what I'm taking from V2 and also making sure that we're right with the information that we are providing to you guys. This is kind of the recap that I did. Reward claiming, if you're going on, staying on V1, you're still going to have to pay those gas fees, unfortunately. So if you're claiming rewards, it is going to stay the same. Once your tokens become unlocked, you'll have to move them to V2. When they come unlocked, if you're locked right now, you're going to keep right there, keep the tokens where you are. Not required to migrate. That is right. So some of the tokens are going to be required to migrate. The ones that are locked are not required to migrate. If you are in a flexible position, they are going to be migrating after 2 weeks. I believe after that point, they're not going to be accumulating anything unless you do the migration. So V1 locked positions cannot be moved. That is right, guys. If you're locked in a V1 position, which now I believe I have probably 8 months left on my V1 position for my SLP pool and a couple other tokens, they are staying in the locked position. If they are locked in V1, you cannot move them. And again, from my understanding, the rewards are still going to be on V1, which means we are going to have to pay the exorbitant amount of gas fees until they are unlocked and we can actually migrate them to a V2. Maximum lock staking is still 1 year. Remember, minimum is 1 month, but the maximum is 1 year. And then, guys, the other big thing is the no flexible staking. So unfortunately, again, for a lot of the players that were into the flexible staking, so I just lock my tokens up or don't lock my tokens up at all, but you still get a pretty decent yield out of it, which I believe even now with an flexible position sushi, you're getting about a 250% APY, which is incredible for the tokens being completely unlocked, but that is not going to be an option when you get to V2. So guys, that will do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts on the V2 staking. And as always, thank you guys for watching.